Thank you for tuning in your favorite School on the Air program. Your radio teacher of the day is none other than yours truly, Teacher Kazanime Katil, known as Teacher Kriza, from Vicenta Cinerio National High School in Tubod, Lakewood, Zamboanga del Sur. Good day, Grade 7 learners. This is your School on the Air in English 7, Week 6. As we embrace the new normal setup in education, to our beautiful and handsome Grade 7 listeners, please stay put, learn, and always remember that English is fun! So wherever you are right now, make it sure that you are in a comfortable place. And now, my dear Grade 7 students, we are in 6th week. I would like you to prepare your Module 6 in English 7 Thematic Manual in Quarter 1. At this point, we will focus from most essential learning competency in English 7, which is the use of phrases, clauses, and sentences appropriately and meaningfully. I am hoping that you will learn something new today. I would like you to join me in our new journey in learning. We will be discovering the difference among phrases, clauses, and sentences.
Wow!
Well, we all know that oftentimes you're confused about the difference of phrases, clauses, and sentences in writing an essay, a story, a paragraph, or even a simple sentence writing. Because you were taught by your teachers during elementary days that a sentence must always begin with a capital letter and ends with a period. That is correct. But I want to add more about your previous understanding in writing a correct sentence and in identifying the appropriate usage of sentences, phrases, and clauses. I know that most of the students nowadays have misunderstood about writing long sentences without knowing if it is a correct sentence or if it is just a phrase or a clause. And now, let us try and discover more. But before we proceed, always remember, if you are confused, always go back to the basic rule. So here's the basic rule that you should always remember. Let us begin with identifying a sentence. Now, let's simplify and give a brief concept of a word sentence. So a sentence has always a subject and a verb. And a sentence is a composition of words with complete thought. Again, a sentence has always a subject and a verb. So subject plus verb equals sentence. Let us try the following examples. Number 1. Maria walks fast. Do you think it is a sentence? Yes, it is a sentence. Very good. Maria here serves as the subject, and the word walks serves as the action verb. Therefore, it is a sentence because it has a subject and a verb. Number 2. The sum of 10 and 5 is 15. Do you think it is a sentence? Yes, you're right. It is a sentence because it has a subject, which is the sum of 10 and 5. And it has a verb. The word is. Therefore, it is considered a sentence. It has a subject, the sum of 10 and 5, and the be verb. The be verb is. Okay, if you noticed, in my two examples, we have two types of verbs. The first one is action verb. So Maria walks fast. So we consider the word walks as an action verb. So we have many examples of action verbs. So we have run, dance, sing, jump, swing, and so on. And for the second example, the sum of 10 and 5 is 15. So we considered it as a sentence because it has the subject, the sum of 10 and 5. So we call it be verb is. Okay, now what are the be verbs? So the be verbs are is, are, was, and were. We have singular be verbs in present tense. We have be verb Example, I am human. We have be verb is. Example, she is a human. We have also plural be verb in present tense. Be verb are. Example, they are humans. We have also singular be verbs in past tense. Be verb was. Example, I was happy yesterday. And the last one, plural be verb in past tense, we have be verb were. Example, they were happy yesterday. These are the be verbs is, are, was, and were. And for some examples of action verbs, we have run, dance, sing, transfer, jump, and so on. Now let us discover more and proceed on the third type of verb. Another type of verb are called having words, such as have, has, and had. Now, let us try to use these verbs. Using have as a verb in a sentence. For example, I have a paper. We have I serves as a subject and have as a verb. So we call it a sentence. Next, using verb had in a sentence. For example, she had a bad dream. She serves as a subject and had serves as a verb. The last one, using the verb has in a sentence. For example, Maria has a complete set of color pens. Maria serves as a subject and has serves as a verb. Now, let us recall the concept in identifying a complete sentence. Again, a sentence has a subject and a verb. Always remember that the subject is the person or thing that talk about in a sentence or the one performing the action verbs, while verbs are the following. Action verbs like run, sing, jump, or push. Another types of verbs are the 5 be verbs.
Wow!
We have is, are, was, and were. And finally, the verb that we called having words, such as have, had, and has. Always remember the basic rule in identifying a sentence. So we have this formula. Subject plus verb equals sentence. Again, subject plus verb equals a sentence. Now, let us proceed in discovering about phrases. What is a phrase? A phrase is a group of words without subject and verb. Again, a phrase is a group of words without subject or a verb. Let's find out the type of phrases with the following examples. Number 1. Was watching my favorite show. This is an example of verb phrase because it has no subject and verb, and it begins with the verb was. Next, number 2. On the table. This group of words is called prepositional phrase because it begins with preposition on, and it has no subject and verb. Next example is number 3. Sitting over there. This is an example of participial phrase because it begins with the present participle and it has no subject and verb. Next, number 4. To bake cakes. This example is called infinitive phrase because it begins with the word to and it has no subject and verb. Next, number 5. Cooking food. This example is a gerund phrase because of the word cooking with ing and it has no subject and verb. Next, number 6. Krisa, my radio teacher. This is an example of a positive phrase because it renames another noun, not technically modifying it, and still it has no subject and verb. Finally, number 7. Very quickly. This is an example of adverbial phrase because it is a group of adverbs and sometimes act as an adverb. And take note, still it has no subject and verb. Before we discuss about clause, let us recall first the basic rule formula of a phrase. Can you give a try? Very good. Yahoo! This is the formula. A group of words subtracted by subject and verb. Again, this is the formula of a phrase. A group of words without subject and verb. Can you now identify a sentence from a phrase? If your answer is yes, congratulations! Yahoo! Now let us proceed to discuss about clause. Yes! Yahoo! Always remember this. A sentence is always a clause. Again, a sentence is always a clause. But a clause is sometimes a sentence. Again, a clause is sometimes a sentence. Repeat after me. A sentence is always a clause, but a clause is sometimes a sentence. You say it right, my dear listeners. Good job! Again, a sentence is always a clause, but a clause is sometimes a sentence. You know the reason why? It's because we have two types of clauses. The first one is independent clause, and the other one we called dependent clause. For you to remember it easily, let's just say that an independent clause is like an adult who can stand alone. And a dependent clause is like a baby who cannot stand alone. Again, the first type of clause is independent clause, which can stand alone, or shall we say, a complete sentence. So independent clause is a complete sentence. In opposite, a dependent clause is not a complete sentence which cannot stand alone and always depend in other thoughts. If you can still remember all the sentences examples that I've given to you, all of those are called independent clause. Therefore, a complete sentence is called an independent clause.
Wow!
Did you get it? I hope you did. It's easy, right?
Yahoo!
Very good! Again, the first type of clause is called independent clause or a complete sentence. When we say complete sentence, it has a subject and a verb and always expresses a complete thought. Unlike a dependent clause, which is always hanging, or some thoughts are missing. Example, after I eat my food. Is this a sentence with a complete thought? You're right, it's a big no because of the subordinating conjunction after. This sentence became hanging, right? Again, in this example, after I eat my food, do you think it is a phrase? It's a big no because it has a subject and a verb. In this example, I serves as a subject and eat serves as a verb, but it is not an independent clause. Because it's hanging, the thought is missing. Though it has a subject and a verb, so we call it a dependent clause. Because this sentence cannot stand alone. But if we put together my first example, which is I will call you, plus this example, after I eat my food, it will become I will call you after I eat my food. Therefore, if we add together the independent clause and dependent clause, it will create one complete sentence. So this is one of the formula to create a complete sentence. Remember, independent clause plus dependent clause is equal to complete sentence. This is one of the formula to create a complete sentence. Remember, independent clause plus dependent clause is equal to complete sentence. Kaya ko ng kabatang Pinoy, kaya ko dahil may kayang Pinoy, kaya kong mangarap pa rin sa
magsisikap dahil may kaya ko, kayang-kaya ko ito. May kaya ko.
Let's have a short recap. First, this formula, subject plus verb equals sentence. Second, group of words without subject and verb is a phrase. The third one, all clauses have subject and verb. The fourth one, independent clause is a complete sentence who can stand alone. The fifth one, dependent clause needs independent clause to become a complete sentence. And finally, a dependent clause often begins with different conjunctions, such as moreover, and, so, for, however, because, before, after, and so on.
Kayang gawin, ilipad, ulat sa talinong akin. Kaya to ng kabatang Pinoy, kaya to dahil may kayang Pinoy. Kaya kong mangarap, pa rin sa pagsisikap, dahil may kaya ko, kayang-kaya ko ito.
Now, let us try how attentive you are.
Yahoo!
Open your thematic module on page 5 to 6. Write your answers in another sheet of paper. Answer letter B activity and analysis from letter B.1 to B.5. If you are finished, you may send your answers to your respective English teacher during the returning schedule of your modules.
Ipagsisigawan ang pangarap, di maiiyak kahit mahirap, kahit alanganin, may panalangin, may pag-asa puso'y susundin. Hayaan kunin ang talentong kayang gawin, ilipad, ulat sa talinong akin. Kaya to ng kabatang Pinoy, kaya to dahil may kayang Pinoy. Kaya kong mangarap, pa rin sa pagsisikap, dahil may kaya ko, kayang-kaya ko ito. Kakayanin ang lahat para magkapagsilbi, mabigyang tuwad ginhawa ang pamilya, maging mabuting kaibigan, magkatulong sa kapwa ng nangailangan. Kayang-kaya, basta sama-sama, harapin ang bukas na may pag-asa. Lahat ng pangarap, kayang tuparin, gaano man kataas, kayang-kayang abutin. Mabuting asa, ang aking baon, mga aral na natutunan ko kahapon. Talento at gabay, mula sa itaas, pagmamahal ng pamilya ang aking lakas. Hayaan kunin ang talentong kayang gawin, ilipad, ulat sa talinong akin.
At last, we're done! Thank you for spending your time to learn about phrases, sentences, and clauses. I am now sending my sweetest goodbye to all of you out there. God bless us all.